Thanks go out today to Mr. Andrew Cole, who made a substantial donation in order to make today's Captain's Blog possible. Thank you to you and all you other cool people on the Patreon who are helping me do this every single day. Thank you guys. Okay, we got everybody? Dig in, we'll get started. What we're going to do is, as we go through this, I'll do a thing, and then you do the thing. Because this isn't hard to do, but there's a lot of things that you can do that will screw things up really bad, and your rocket won't work. And my job is really simple. All of you, at the end of this, are going to have a working, good rocket that you will be able to launch as soon as winter actually ends, which may happen, maybe not. Everybody open up the big bag and dump everything out on the table in front of you. Be gentle doing this. Our job is to not break the delicate things inside. Okay, everybody got their thing dumped out? No. You're getting there. I believe in you. Here you go. Okay, once you've got everything dumped out on the table, you will have a big empty bag. Throw the empty bag away. If you don't have a place to throw it away, just toss it off the front of your table. We'll deal with it later. Okay. You will also have a big yellow piece of paper, a thing like this. This you can throw away. Because we're going to get rid of all the pieces you don't need to eliminate clutter. There's a lot of little pieces. Schenken Sie mir Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Sie kommen jetzt in den interessantesten und gleichzeitig geheimsten Raum meiner Fabrik. Anybody understand that? Good, you don't need the German instructions. In fact, you're not going to need the English instructions either, because we're making this up as we go along. I've done this once or twice. It's going to be okay. The only part of the instructions you will actually need is this little piece, which we cut out for you and is on your table in front of you. So, let's see what parts we have so far. You should have this part here. This is the bottom of your rocket. It's the fin assembly. Everybody got one of these? Okay. You should have the blue nose cone. Now your nose cone might have a white thing in the bottom already. You should be able to unplug this. Right? Everybody got these two parts? Okay. You should have a paper towel tube. Hold your paper towel tube up on your finger. I want to see everybody's got one. Cool. Okay. Now you have a little bag of stuff that we're going to open in a second, but because I want to get this out of the way, we're going to do something a little out of order. So set your stuff aside, and you will need these two pieces, the white piece and the nose cone. This is the top of your rocket, okay? Now you'll notice that the white piece only goes in a little bit, about half an inch, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to do it first, and then you can copy, okay? You're going to need a thing of rubber cement. Some of you will have to share. Take the nose cone apart, set it down. The rubber cement has a little brush inside the top. Now the cool thing about rubber cement is it's safe and non-toxic and it won't hurt you in any way. The bad side is if you get it on the carpet, it's forever. So, brush it off a little bit. If you get this on the table, it isn't a big deal, but it's basically like really bad stuff. So we're going to take this, and you put it inside, and you go around the inside. Don't get any on the outside. It's kind of hard to wipe off. But you want to get it just inside, all the way around. Look at that. I did the whole thing and didn't get any on. Then you take the white thing, you put the white thing in there like it was. Make sure it's all the way in, and give it a little half twist, and you're cool. And then just set this aside on the table. We'll come back to this in about 20 minutes, but this will give it time to dry, so we're going to do this first. Go ahead and put your nose cones together.
Sure.
If you glue your hand to your rocket today, you're in the special club of those of us who have done it.
Twist it around so it's not straight all over the place. Turn it 90 degrees.
It sounds dumb, but it's easier than you think.
Can we start that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to use the rubber cement glue, not this. In fact, if you have a lot of people waiting on rubber cement, I can help you.
Hand it over to Julia. Stick it in. Do you want me to help you, Julia?
Yep.
Okay, now we said do a half turn.
Yeah.
Okay? Sure. Would you like help, Julia?
Okay, we'll just run that one down. How many rubber cements?
We have one.
We have a few of them.
Wipe it on the side.
I got one over here, one there. Okay, we got a few.
And then twist it so it doesn't string anymore. Twist it. Twist. Yeah, now rub the inside.
No, he's done it yet. Thanks.
I like to start right off with the goofy stick.
Alright, I'll put the lid on.
Yeah, we're done.
I'll hand it over to that, yeah? Okay. And then you have to.
If you're building a model at home yourself, like with your parent, instead of rubber cement, it's a lot better to use the little red tube of Tester's model glue for plastic parts. Works a million times better. We can't do that with large groups of kids. So we're using rubber cement for this one.
Is anybody else waiting on rubber cement?
Okay, if you have your nose cone assembled, hold it up over your head so I can see everybody's got it done. Wow, look at that. All right, we only have a couple left, so we're, okay, put them down, we're almost there. For now, set your nose cone aside. Make sure there's no gooey on it. If it's kind of sticky on the outside, that's okay because rubber cement will rub right off in a little bit. It's a lot easier to fight when it's dry. Okay, so who wants to play with explosives? It's like, that's why I signed up for a rocket class. All right, cool. You have a little bag of stuff. Now, before you open this, the things inside it are tiny, easy to lose, want to roll off the table, and are delicate. So be careful opening the bag. But everybody open up the little bag and move it out on your table. The little empty bag here, when you're done, you can throw that away. You don't need it. Inside, you should have, and we'll go through these one at a time because they are important. And every now and then, a kid is missing a part. Okay, you should have 2 green rings. One is a full ring, and one is an almost ring. It's got a little gap in it, okay? You should have those. Now we have the paper towel tube, now you have the toilet paper tube, so you should have the little short tube. And your tube should have a little tiny notch in the side. Just a little hole cut out. You should have the white plastic wedding ring. You should have a little tiny soda straw for the world's smallest juice box. You should have a kinky piece of metal, a spring thing here with a wibbly bit on one end and the other end's just bent over at a 90-degree angle. And you should have the official rubber band for snapping your kid's sister. Okay, so we're going to make a rocket engine assembly real quick. You should all have a bottle of glue or one nearby. Pop the top up, it's like a syrup bottle, okay? But it should be up a little bit. If there is a big booger on top of your glue thing, pick the booger. Now, this is the time for booger picking because you're going to need the glue to come out nice and consistent in a minute. Okay. On this, everybody grab a Sharpie or magic marker. We've got them. They will be passed around if you don't have one already, but everybody needs a Sharpie marker. Okay. Here is the Kung Fu grip to be able to do this easily. On your tube, you'll have the little hole at the top. Put the tube on your finger. Okay, with the little hole at the top. See the little notch in my tube? You put it on your finger, and then you bring your hand around and you put your thumb against the end so that this side of your thumb is even with the end, okay? You want to hold it just like this. So you put it on your finger, and then you bring your thumb around and you put it at the end, because your thumb today, all of you, no matter how old or big or small you are, all of you, your thumb is now 1 inch, okay? Because it's close enough for rocket science. On the other side of your thumb, line this hole up so that you've got the hole on top there, and then make a mark on this side of your thumb on the tube. And you want to have a mark about there, so about a thumb wide, give or take. It's not rocket
How do I
science.
make a mark? Where do I make a mark, Mom?
Okay, so you're going to hold the tube like this. You're going to bring it around to your thumb. You're going to put your thumb on the end, and you're using your thumb to measure the distance from the end of the tube up to about 1 inch, and then you draw a line. Okay, and you want to have your line about here on the tube, and you want to have it in line with the hole up on top. Okay, it doesn't matter how many lines you draw on the tube. Nobody will ever know that you made a mistake. We will hide this. But you should end up about like this. Hold it up on your finger when you got it. Go like this. Show me what you got. I'm going to take a look. I want to see your inch, so put it so I can see the inch. You're perfect. Turn around. You can see your inch. Good, good, good. She gets 1.5 inches. Yes, it's yellow. It's hard to see. Good, 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 good. I have to actually check these because it's important to me that we get them right. I don't know how you got there, but you got there and it's okay. Good, good, good. You're getting there. Good, 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 good. He's got a serious inch. Okay. All right. So the next step, we're going to put the metal bit. Now you've got the hairpin. One end of it just makes a nice 90-degree bend, and the other end kind of freaks out a little bit. So the freak out end goes down. The little bendy piece goes in the hole on the tube. So what you should end up with looks like that. Okay? This is really easy. You can do this. We just put the bendy piece in the top of the tube, right here in the hole. So pick up your thing, put it in the hole, hold it up, let me see. Okay? Now, grab the white wedding band, and we're going to slide that right over the top of the whole tube. Okay? Just like this. And just slide it down past the metal, down to about here-ish. Okay, and all that's going to do is hold this piece of metal in place while we do the next couple of steps so we don't have to fight the glue. Okay? Watch. Oh, you're awesome. Slide it up a little bit so you don't have to fight it. Okay, cool. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I have to be an adult. All right. So, now you have the 2 green rings. One is a full all the way around ring, and one is a ring with a bite taken out of it, right? You want the ring with the bite taken out of it, and what we're going to do is that bite magically fits where the metal goes. So you're going to put this ring on the bottom of your tube, and you're going to slide it up to just somewhere in the middle. Just put this on so that the bite goes where the metal is. And it's just going to slide it up here so it's out of the way for now. Okay? When you've got it, hold your tube up and let me get a look at it before we go to the next step. Good, 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 good. Yeah, you got it. Okay, good. Cool. Some of you are holding it right side up, right side up. Like, okay, cool. We got this. All right. Now we get to play with goo. So what we're going to do, let me do this before you do because I want to do this all at once and we're not going to screw this up, right? Okay. What you're going to do is with your ring up and out of the way, down here at the bottom, see the width of the green ring? The green ring is a 1/4 inch across, okay? So what we're going to do is you hold the tube up like this, you hold the glue like this. This is not one of those times in your life where the bigger the gob, the better the job. You just need enough glue to get it wet all the way around. That's it. You don't need any glue built up. It should just be wet. So what you do is you put this on, because any more than that you put on, you're going to have to wipe off anyway. You put the glue on there, smear it around a bit, and it's right at the end. and it's only about the last 1/4 inch because that's all the width of your green thing. So you put the glue on there, and you can see this, the metal piece has to be straight, parallel to the long axis, and then slide this down, right over it, and you want the green thing to end up flush with the bottom. And then, this is really important, take your finger and wipe the excess glue out, and then get rid of the excess glue. If you have jeans, this is easy. But you want to end up with no big glue drippy out the bottom because the engine, the rocket engine, slips in the bottom of this. And if you have big glue boogers, they set up, they get hard, and you won't be able to get the engine in. And then you'll be sad and your rocket won't fly. But this is where you want to end up. You want the green thing with glue under it at the bottom of the tube, and the metal thing is straight. So if your ring twists, it'll bend the metal off to either side. You want everything to be straight. It should look just like that. Okay? Now go ahead and glue it up. It will not hurt if you get glue on the metal piece. That's okay. Because it won't stick very well to it anyway.
So you can just spread it. You can just spread it.
You need glue? I will come around just I have glue. Who needs their tube glued? Raise your hand up if you don't have glue yet. All right, she's coming your way.
And he said to wipe all that glue off with your finger. It'll wash off.
Well, you start off with the German and everybody follows. Just shout at people in German and things happen. Does anybody else need glue? You need glue? Now, just because you see me wipe glue on my jeans does not mean you get to do that. My mom doesn't love me, so I can just do that kind of thing, and it doesn't matter. No, you're not in trouble, but I might be after the show, is what I work. Your thumb or whatever, but you wipe the glue off nice and clean. Building rockets is a very goopy, sticky process, and it's really important to keep things clean. Okay. Some of you may have had the bright idea to take this and put it in the end of your tube. You will do this eventually, but if you do this now, because there's wet glue on this, you may very well glue your thing into your tube, and you will be sad later on, because we have to fill this with stuff. This won't be a hollow, empty tube when we're done. So leave this on the table to dry. Okay. Now, the next step, and I'll do it to show you guys how it works. Inside the fin assembly, on the bottom, there's a little step. If you stick your finger inside, you'll feel the little step. Okay? And in the top, you'll feel a little step. These steps are both a 1/4 inch. So watch this. If I take this tube, there's a metal thing hanging down below it. You have 3 fins on the rocket. Between 2 of them, you want to put this in. Oh, wait. I got to do a thing first. We're going to glue the band down. Okay. Slide your band, the wedding ring band, slide it up towards this end away from your line. It doesn't have to go very far. Just like if it's that far away from your line, you're fine. But go around on your tube and put a ring of glue right over your line mark. Where you made the little mark before, we measured off 1 inch. Put a little ring of glue around that, just a thin little ring, and then slide the wedding band down onto the glue, and then wipe it off. You should end up with the wedding band about like that, with glue under it, and what that does is holds your metal thing in place forever. Everybody do that step. And then we'll do the fins.
Right here.
Do you need glue? You need glue? Here, go ahead.
No, not that many.
Next step. Don't do it yet, because we got to do stuff. But that's okay. Because this metal thing actually holds your engine in with the rocket engine. There's a parachute. I don't know. Also, this is super important. This parachute is like exactly the right size for G.I. Joe guys. Yeah, see? Yeah. That's your rocket science there. They're a little bit too big for Lego dudes, but they'll still work. If it isn't like windy outside, you'll be alright. And you can fit Lego dudes inside the rocket. Yeah. G.I. Joe guys won't fit in a rocket this way. Yeah, let's see. I think you got enough. Bet you make it. Who else needs glue? Is everybody glued? Okay. If you're glued, show me your piece. Good question. Oh! You've killed us all. Hang on. This is rocket science, man. You know what happens when you get it wrong, right? You ever see a NASA flowchart? NASA flowchart. Every NASA flowchart is either mission accomplished or everybody dies. So, all right. You're good. You're good. You're good. Where's yours? You're good. 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 That's beautiful. That's perfect. Where's my glue? Who's got my glue? Right here. That's my glue. Okay. Okay. Now we get to make the engine subassembly, which is a $5 name for rocket butt. Okay. In this piece, when you put this together, you've got 3 fins, right? And you've got 3 open areas between the fins. We're going to use 2 of those. This is one of them. For this step, you want the metal piece. You stick this in the rocket butt, and you be very careful, and the green piece will slide just barely inside. Okay? It'll end up flat, and it'll actually go in a little tiny bit. And you want the metal piece halfway between 2 fins, right? Go ahead and do that. You're not going to glue anything. You're just going to slip it in there. You don't need any glue for this step. When you're done, you should have this. The white part will stick out the top a little bit, and that's okay. In fact, it's really bad if it doesn't. Okay, you have now all made a rocket butt. Okay, has everybody got that step done?
It's fine. It's okay if I loose.
Loose?
Slip back out. You're okay. Slide halfway between.
It'll be... Let me see that, because it's okay, but... Oh, never seen a wiggly one before. We'll fix that in the next step, though, okay? Some of you, it may fall out the bottom. I've never had that before, but apparently this is a thing today. All right, here's the next step. The next step is done in 2 parts. You've got about 3/8 of an inch of white sticking out the top. So hold your finger flat against the bottom. Do not, this is really important, do not put your finger inside and push, because you will push the white tube out of the green tube. The white tube will fall right out. All you got to do is push past the glue. The green tube won't move. So you just put your finger flat against the bottom and hold this like this. This one, the full green ring, because we use the almost full green ring on the other end, the full green ring here slips just barely over the top. Do not slide it down all the way. You want to have it just on far enough that it's actually engaged, right? Don't slide it down. You want to have it hanging way off like this, as far out as you can, because the step after you do that, and this, by the way, in doing that, saves you from having super goopy fingers. You do this. Now that you've got the green ring on, you put a band of glue around it. Just get some glue in there, a reasonable amount. All you need is enough to make it wet. You just work your way around. Okay? And then holding one finger flat against the bottom, you slide this ring down over the glue all the way. Okay? And if you do it right, you clean the glue off here. If everything's right, you should have white tube all the way through. It may stick out the top or bottom a tiny little bit. And you should have a green ring inside and a green ring on top. And now you clean off the glue all the way around. And you can set this down because you have now made the entire bottom section of your rocket. Ta-da! The terrifying thing is, if you did it right, you can make just that part fly. It's terrifying, but you can do it. I'm going to wait a minute for everybody to catch up. When you're done, set your rocket on the table in front of you. Because I'm going to come by and check. Who needs glue? You need glue?
Always.
Always.
You're the glue.
Help with that?
Yeah.
Because
I can't get it to do it.
What do you think the odds are you make it through the day? I got it at 6 to 5. You gotta turn. Here, watch this. When you have to glue around something, hold the glue still and turn the thing. Okay, so you hold the glue like this. Just a little bit, and then you just walk that right around. Now I'll do the glue for you, but if I put the glue on, I'm going to put like 5 times as much as you need, just because I want you to have a problem getting it all cleaned off. I'm a horrible person like that. No, you need way more glue. Oh, get it in. Cool. Put it on. Okay, now see all this? You got to run your finger around, all the way around. Okay, and then go like this. I'll clean it all right out for you. Okay, you got this? Do that. No. You just saw me teach her how to do this. You hold this in one hand. You hold this in this hand. And you turn this, and you go around. Because if you do this, we're going to be here all day. You hold this like this, you hold that like that, and you go around. Right? Right? Okay. Yeah, that's not going to end bad at all. I'm going to help. Okay. I'm going to be your helper here a little bit. Because I want to eat lunch today. Okay. Now slide it together. All together. Now wipe that all off and put it in her hair. Okay. Alright. I'm checking rockets. You want to have this will, if you let it, this can be kicked off to a side a little bit because it'll wiggle a little bit. You need to have it right in the middle. Make sure it's super concentric. That's the word of the day, concentric. Can I see that? Oh, wait. Okay, I'm going to check everyone and make sure we got it right.
You see how hers
Now you're pushing that. And now he's going to put that. I see what happened. Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. Ruined me. I was like, wait a minute. That's Pee-wee. Oh my God.
Spill it. Be all over.
Mystery man. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Okay, front row.
You can check.
Good. 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 Crooked. Good. Now it's going to be okay. Okay. Good. Better. Good.
Yeah, he's like, I can't see.
Okay. We have survived making the entire bottom of the rocket, and nobody has eaten any glue yet, so we're doing good. It's better than the last group. All right. Paper towel tube, right? Okay. Now, you also have a little tiny soda straw, okay? Now, we're going to put this on here, and when we do, we have to put it in a certain way. And if you use too much glue, this will stay wet and fall off. So watch really closely how we do this. You take your little tube, and don't do this yet. Let me do it so you get it right. You put just enough glue to make a consistent wet line down the thing. You literally need about 1 drop of glue, but you have to have glue all the way down, just enough to make it wet all the way down. Now, this goes on here, and they both have to point the same direction. If it's screwy, it's not going to work. Okay, this is really important. This is the launch tube. This can't hang below, but it can go anywhere on the bottom half of the tube. You don't want it up here, so anywhere on the bottom half, and you just stick it on the side, and then make sure they both point the same direction. And it should look kind of like a rifle. Like if you look down it, you should be able to see all the way down both holes. This can't be twisted. You want to end up with something that looks about like that. Okay? And if you do it right, and you have the right amount of glue, not too much, not too little, you can take this afterwards and immediately stand it up, and it won't fall off. If you put on too much glue, it'll fall off. Go ahead and glue your thing.
The sun is slow. That's on their sweater.
Okay, has everybody got it?
No.
No? Are you still waiting on glue? One of us has got a good shape. You got it? Anybody else waiting on glue? That's perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh my goodness! Okay. Good, good, good. Alright. Excellent. We're almost there, guys. Alright. Now we're going to do an easy one. Yep. Okay. You have in a baggie a parachute. Do not unfold the parachute. That path leads to pain. So we open up the bag holding the parachute. And I'm going to teach you all. How many people know how to tie a lark's head knot? See, that means none of you are serious kite people, but you're about to be. You're all going to learn a new knot. Okay, so take the parachute out of the bag. And you can unfold the parachute this far, but that's it, okay? Because in the parachute, you will have a bunch of strings hanging off the bottom of the parachute, except you don't. The strings are alive. You actually only have 3 strings on the bottom of the parachute. And you want to catch them all in your finger and be able to hold the parachute like this and have it hang by 3 big loops. Okay? So this is where you want to be. Parachute hanging by 3 loops from your finger. And you should have all 3, not just 1 or 2, all 3 loops. Okay? Because I'm going to teach you how to tie a knot by threading a needle. Okay, hold your finger up when you've got it. And make sure you have all 3 strings over your finger. Okay. Now, here's how we do this. Remember this piece, the nose cone? On the bottom of the nose cone is a white thing, and on the bottom of the white thing is the eye, like there's a little window there. And think of that like the eye of a really big needle. And what you're going to do is take all 3 of these and pinch them together, so they're like that, and put all 3 through the eye of the needle. Now you want to make sure you get all 3 through. It's not hard, but sometimes 1 or 2 of them wants to sneak up inside the tail cone, or the nose cone. But if you end up with it right, you should be able to get like this, with it hanging like this. Okay? And when you get there, hold it up, and let it hang like this, and then we'll do the next step. You're halfway there. And next we get to do the magic part. Everybody there? We're going to wait a minute. We're just going to take a moment and chill. Because that's the hard part, is getting all 3 in there. And the best part is you don't need glue for this part. Okay, everybody there? I think that's everyone. No? Okay, this is the next step. Put your thumb and your finger in the hole of all 3, turn it sideways, and you have a really big window. Then take the top of the wizard hat of the parachute, and you pull that through the big window, like that. And you should end up like that. So all you do is you make a big window, you put and you've got this hanging like this. So you make a big window, you pass this through the big window, and then you'll end up like that. And then the moment of magic awesomeness happens after you pass it through the window. If you let go with this hand, you just tied it up. There's only one way that works. If you do anything wrong, your nose cone will just fall. And you'll be okay. It's a really solid visual indicator if you did it right. But you want to end up like this. Okay, everybody should now have a nose cone with a parachute. Okay. So now we can set this whole assembly down, and we'll come back to it in a minute. Because what we really did there was we gave time for the glue to kick on the big tube. So, everybody has the big tube, the main rocket body, and on the bottom you have the glue drying on your side tube, right? Okay, this is on the bottom. If you have this like this, you're upside down and there will be sadness. So you want this on the bottom like that, and set this on the table. Because we're going to come back to that, and you're not going to have a lot of time to think about it. You're going to need it to be the right way you want it. Does everybody have the little tornado-shaped piece of paper with the 1, 2, 3 on it? And everybody has the rubber band. Okay. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to take our piece of paper, and we're going to bend it on the dotted lines between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So you're just going to put a little crease in it. Yep, just bend it enough to put a crease in it, and then unfold it. You want to end up like that. Okay? And now we're going to play connect the dots. take your Sharpie marker, and you want to draw on your thing and cover a line right down between the numbers. Just connect the dots on the 3 numbers, and you want to end up like that. Okay?
She don't have one of those 1, 2, 3 things.
She doesn't have one? We'll get her one.
I'll go get it.
Okay. Yeah. You want to just color over the numbers just like that and connect the dots between the 1, 2, and 3. And then all you have to do is where you colored that line, cover that in glue. Just a little stripe of glue down the thing. You guys have the advantage of getting to do this on a table. I have to do this holding it up.
Mom, I covered my number.
You want to have it look like that, with just a gob of glue right down the middle. And then straighten out the end. It doesn't matter which end, but straighten out the end of your big rubber band. You're going to lay that right on there. Now, I'll show you how in a second. Give me a moment here. And you glue down the rubber band on the piece of paper just like that. And just smush it all down. And when you get to this point, hold it up and let me see it. Because this is our stage 1 jellyfish. Okay. You can set it down. You're good. Good. Get a little more glue on there if you can. There. I'll hook you up. Just smear that around. All right. Once you've got the stage 1 jellyfish, this is the goopity stickity part. Add a little bit of glue on top, on the skinny part, right on top of the rubber band, like that. And then you're going to fold that over like that and smush it out. And then you add a little more glue. You don't need a lot. Just a little drop of glue right in the middle, like that. And then smush that over, like that. And then you squeeze all the glue around, and it's a goopy, sticky mess. And you end up with a very wet, gloopy, glue little. Okay, and you make your little box jellyfish. This is where you want to be. A lot of glue, the little box jellyfish. Yeah, you fold on the 2 lines. Here. Yeah. Yeah, you fold on both. Yeah. So fold that over there, like that. Where's your glue?
The top of your and fold it once. Glue again, fold it again.
Like that. Fold that whole thing over like that.
Oh my gosh.
And smush it down.
Are you waiting for
And it makes it shine. Okay.
Well done.
Okay. Everybody should end up like this with a little box jellyfish. Okay, is everybody there? I don't see any We got, okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. This is the tricky part. What you have to do, and you may need a grown-up to help you. If you have short fingers, this won't work very well. What we're going to do is we're going to glue this down inside the tube. But you really, really, really do not want to get any glue in the first inch. So like, remember your thumb? You don't want any glue at the top end of the tube in the first inch, because if you do, you glue the top on and then you'll be set. So watch how I do this, and then we'll do it together, okay? This isn't hard to do, it's just really easy to screw up. And I have screwed it up. So your box jellyfish wants to bend this way, okay? It just naturally wants to lay that way. Has to do with how they folded it, okay? So you give that a little bit of a bend, and then you put the jellyfish on the end of your finger, you hold it kind of like that. You put a little bit of glue, not a lot, but you put a little bit of glue on your jellyfish. Now see where my straw is? That's right side up, that's at the bottom, so I'm going to work on the top. And you take this and you stick it in without letting it touch the sides. You hold it way back. And you cram it in there, and then you go a full finger deep. So you want a grown-up to help with this, but you want it in as deep as you can reach with a finger, and then press it against the side, and you should end up with that. Now be careful, because if you pull on this, you'll yank that back out, and then there will be sadness. And then stick your finger in, and make sure you don't have any glue at the top of your tube. Doesn't matter how much glue you have down in there, that's fine. But the glue at the top we don't want. And then wipe the glue off your finger. You know we could do that backwards.
What this does.
There we go.
This is the one part where grown-up fingers are a huge advantage. You need an adult? You're coming in. What do you got?
Is it this way?
No, it's this.
Thanks.
Happy to help you. Yeah, well. Cool kids are doing it.
Don't tug on that.
Did you get it? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter where it is. As long as it's this end, you're
No, probably. Well, yeah. We'll try this. And then this will run to your
Finger and no.
Everybody got it?
Yeah.
You good? All right. It gets super easier from here on out. We've done the hard parts. All right. So now we get to actually start to make it look like a rocket, which is pretty cool. All right. So you should have your straw on the bottom, your rubber band out the top, and this is all assembled. So this is super easy. What we're going to do, don't do it yet, let me get through explain it first. We're going to put a little glue around the green band on here. Okay? And then the rocket goes on here. Now when you do this, it'll either go on pretty easy or you'll have to force it. If you have to force it, something isn't lined up right and you're about to be unhappy. So don't force it, because this is just a thin piece of cardboard, and if you ram it on, this will just go boom, and it'll all break apart, and there's sadness and pain and crying. But you should end up here, and then just wipe off the excess glue at the bottom. Go ahead and glue your main rocket body on. You now have the entire bottom half of the rocket. Where's Kip? You left. He abandoned us. We're going to need wadding in a second. I want to start getting the wadding out to people.
That's okay. I wasn't sure if you were done yet. Alright.
Is that what that's?
Yeah, like that. String at the top, into the bottom. Yep, got it. It's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right.
On the side.
Yeah. Oh, she's got one. Okay.
It's on the
Yeah, let's put that on. Two.
either. No,
Okay, but it doesn't go all the way down.
cleaned up. What is that? It looks like a wolf's that. Wait. It looks like a dog slash horse slash dog slash
Because you only have a second to do it. Did it? Nope. Did you do that already?
Julia, gentle. And then wipe it
There you go. Okay. Now wipe off the glue and you're cool.
off. Did you wipe? Like it's straight here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Show me your rockets. This part's tricky.
Oh, we're supposed to get out of the
Yeah, you're supposed to go all the way down. Don't touch the gluey part to the table part. As down as yours going to get, it's already been on there for a second. The glue starts to set up.
I'm gonna help you, okay? You're getting helped whether you like it or not.
Everybody needs two
There you go.
pieces. 2 pieces of this.
Happy to help. You got it all the way down. Twist it, twist it, twist it. It's really, it's kind of good. Yeah. There you go. You're good. Oh, you found it.
There was a box in the other.
Oh, cool. All right. Give 2 pieces of this. It's super thin. Put 2 pieces to everybody. Okay? Just like that. It's super, super thin. And I need a grip. Thanks. Okay. All right. Has everybody glued their tube together? All right. Congratulations. Everybody now has a rocket body. All right. Now, we're going to work with the end of this, but at no point do you want to do that. Exactly what I'm picking on you. You're doing it wrong right there, and you're the example for everybody. Okay? At no point do you want to put any tension on this because we could dislodge it in the rocket. So we're going to work this nice and loose, and we're going to work close to the rocket, but this is really hard. You have to take the rubber band, put it through the bottom, tighten it up. Leave a tail of a couple inches, but that's it. You should end up about like that, okay? That's all the tail you want, just a couple inches, nothing really long. And then pull it nice and tight. This is a great time to tie a double knot. You can tie any kind of knot you want. If all you know is a really crappy old granny knot, go with that. What? You what? Yeah.
Joanne loves it.
See what I did double knot? I didn't double knot.
Is there a name for that? What do you call it after you take it?
A regular knot.
There you go. Okay, got it?
Can't try this. Why them
Tying a rubber band around your tip.
Okay, everybody got that tied on? Cool. Alright, now we get to do final assembly. Everybody should have 2 pieces of ugly tissue paper. Alright? Ugly tissue paper. So what we're going to do is you put the tissue paper flat in your hand.
That's the way.
You put your finger right on top, like that. And then you squeeze around. And you make a little ghost, like this, okay? And then we're going to stick the little ghost in the tube, like that. For the second piece, do the same thing, or just crumple it into a really loose ball. Do not try to make a tight little ball. You want this really floofy, okay? Like that, big ball. Go. What? It ripped? It doesn't matter. Crumple it up, stuff it in the tube. It's totally okay if it rips or tears, because all we're going to do is blow it up later on anyway. And then stuff it in the tube a full finger deep, a grown-up finger, not a kid finger. So stick it all the way down in there as far as you can reach. You should have 2 pieces wadded up down in the tube. Only 2. Why do I have 2? What? What?
1 inch.
Huh?
The ghost body, that's 1 inch.
Yeah, just round it in. Just yeah, the whole thing, all the way down. As far as you can get in there. There you go. Hey, I don't know how I ended up with 2 things either, but I'm there. Alright, ready? Everybody got the thing stuffed in? Okay. Now this is kind of tricky, so pay close attention. Hold your parachute up by the wizard hat. Okay? Now you're going to fold it over like this, like a droopy wizard hat. Okay? And now we're going to fold it around like this, like closing a book. All the way around. So you should have it all folded up. Now see how I have the strings going down? You wrap the string around the parachute loosely 3 times. And you should end up like that, with the strings off at this end, and it's just hanging down. Everybody got that? Okay, now here's where you're going to need a friend to help. One person holds the parachute like this, and the other person sticks the rubber band down the hole. But you want to stick the rubber band into the top of the rocket. You should be able to get almost all of it in there. You want to end up like this. Okay? This is what we're shooting for. Okay, now the last step, one end of your parachute has strings coming off it, the other end is the folded over end. Stick the folded over end into the rocket. And then just stuff everything down in there. And don't worry if the strings make a mess or if the rubber band makes it, just stick it all in the hole, it's going to be fine. And then the very last step, is making sure you don't kink any of the stuff between the side of the tube. Put the nose cone in the rocket, and you now have a rocket. Because rocket. When your rocket is done, set your rocket on the table in front of you. 1 hour. That's a lot of an hour. 1 hour.
Is that okay if there's a little lip right there?
It's okay, I'm just wondering why. Why you have a lip? Oh, that's not good. That's why. You didn't need that hurt anyway. No more lip. You're giving me lip.
Yeah.
All right. Now, now you have stickers. You can put the stickers anywhere you like, except, this is really important. You know how we just stuffed a parachute down the top of the rocket? That needs to be able to get back out. So you can put the stickers anywhere on the blue, and anywhere on the white, anywhere on the red. But you cannot let stickers cross over between the blue and the white, because if you do, you will basically tape the top of the rocket together, and the parachute won't come out when you launch it. You'll be sad, they'll be crying, and they'll blame me. So you can put the stickers anywhere you want, on the white, or the blue, or the red, but not crossing white and blue. Go ahead, have fun with stickers.
Here's your stickers.
You
Oh, here's
also
your
have
stickers.
markers that you can decorate your rockets any
Like
way
that?
you want. You can even draw
Mom,
up your
can I
rockets.
color on this paper?
Go ahead. Everyone do, sweetheart.
Yeah, you go around all you want. You just can't have a
Where do you
sticker
want the
cross
stars?
this line.
Are you sure you don't want to maybe put the stickers on the rocket?
I do. Mom, what's this?
By the way, this isn't called one big sticker. They come off in pieces. So what's going to happen in a few weeks, when the weather doesn't completely suck, the geek group is going to put together a launch day, and you'll all get an email. Just like you got an email for the event today, you'll all get an email about the launch day. And we will bring a launch system, and you will bring your rocket, and we'll bring all the motors and everything you need, because there's some other parts that you'll need, but I'm not sending people home with explosives. And when you show up with your rocket, we'll put a motor in it. I think I even have a motor hanging out somewhere. We need a motor. That'll be a rocket motor. No. All right. Yes. We will show up with the super secret high security box of rocket motors. And the motors look like this. This is the actual firework. Okay? Now remember that really cool little piece of metal on the bottom? This is why it's important for you to wipe the glue off as we go, because I need this on launch day to be able to fit right inside there, like that, and then we stick the rocket motor in the bottom of the rocket. And then with the little tube on the side, remember I said that had to be really, really straight? This is why, because we're going to put it over our car antenna of science, and now that rocket's ready to launch. We'll put a little igniter in the bottom, and we'll take you back about like 20, 30 feet. And you get to press the button, and when you press the button, it lights the rocket, and it goes up, like that. And sometimes parts fall behind. But this will go way, way, way up, about 1,000 feet. And once it gets all the way to the top, at the end of the motor, there's a firecracker that'll go off, and that will shoot fire, a little explosion up the inside of the rocket top, and it'll take the parachute out with it. And those pieces of wadding we put in there that's fireproof paper. It keeps that from lighting the parachute on fire. And this will float back down from the parachute and it'll be really cool. If you didn't glue this right, it blows the whole top of the rocket off and then you just find pieces in the field. But that never happens, ever. Totally haven't done that. But yeah, it's really simple, and when you find the rocket, you can put it all back together. And, this is the cool part, you pull this up a little bit, you pull the old motor out, you throw it away, you take a new motor, you put the new motor in, you repack the parachute just like I showed you, and it'll fly again and again and again until you lose it in a tree. So, yeah. So, here's a couple things you need to know. One, you now all know the basics of how to put a model rocket together. They get way bigger, they get way cooler, and this is super cheap. This is a really cheap toy hobby thing. And the cool thing, along the way in building rockets, kids have to learn really terrible things like math, science, engineering, how to use tools. It's just terrible. You can go, because once you do this, you haven't been there yet. Once you go out and you launch this and you go get it back, it's like the greatest thing ever. It's awesome. It's like Christmas levels of fun. And you will get addicted to this, which is cool, because if you get young people into model rockets and model airplanes and stuff like that, they will never have enough money for drugs. I've learned this the hard way. Airplanes get expensive, but rockets are cheap. And you can go to Ryder's Hobby on 28th Street, who I'm not affiliated with at all, just I do this is like my thing. I make rockets and airplanes. You go to Ryder's Hobby on 28th Street, and there's a dude in there behind the counter who looks like a crusty old goat. His name is Q. You will absolutely know him when you see him. He actually does look like an old goat. His name is Q. He has forgotten more about rockets than I will ever know. He's an awesome human being and he likes kids. And he has a giant pile of different model rockets at Ryder's. And they range from really simple, put it together in an hour ones like this, to giant, complicated things that will take you weeks. And they're cheap. And you can get the launch systems like this, because you can do this. This isn't rocket science. You've got this. And for anybody who wants to learn about a place where you can go and get questions answered and build rockets with your kids and have all the tools and all the toys and everything you ever dreamed, there is a place 10 minutes from here over on Leonard, the old West Side Y on Leonard, called the Geek Group. They have every tool you ever dreamed of using. If you want to build rockets or robots or work on your car, they have more tools in that building than Home Depot has for sale. And for $5 a week, you can use all of them. That's the idea. So, I'm going to have a helper pass these out. And we're just going to pass these around. This is a free invitation to a tour at the Geek Group. And you're all invited. They do tours there every Saturday at 12:30 in the afternoon. It happens every week. You just show up, say you're there for the tour. Go.
Earlier you mentioned like you can get these ones or giant ones.
They come in all different sizes.
Does it also come with giant firecrackers or giant
No,
explosives?
as firecrackers go, these are really boring because the way the engine works, you buy the rocket engines. When you come to launch day, we'll bring some, but you can buy these at Ryder's, and you put a little igniter in the bottom, and it just goes. There's no huge amounts of fire. There isn't a huge amount of smoke. It doesn't really do much. It's designed to be a rocket motor, not a firework. When the engine totally burns up, there's a little firecracker in the top that just shoots out a puff of air, and that's what blows the top of the rocket open to let the parachute out. But it's not like a bottle rocket. Any other questions? Go. If you go to the Geek Group, not only can you learn everything you ever wanted to know about Nikola Tesla, you can actually see a working, real Tesla coil and make lightning yourself. I know the guy that runs the high voltage lab at the Geek Group, and if you walk in there and say you want to know about Nikola Tesla, he's going to have the best day ever. And no matter how many cool science things I do in my life, I will never be cool enough to get away with wearing that hat. Go!
For the giant one, how many firecrackers would you need?
You're the kid that's going to blow things up in the driveway. I
I'll
understand,
do it
because
right
I'm the
after
kid
we
that
blow
blows
the
things
cars.
up in the driveway. Yeah, go talk to Q. He'll teach you stuff. I'm not going to have your parents killing me for the things that I can teach you. So just go talk to Q. He'll teach you stuff. Any other questions? Cool. You have all graduated. You know how to do rockets. What?
Can you can go to the Geek Group store and you can get like all those things that.
No, you get the rocket parts at Ryder's Hobby. You go to the Geek Group for a place to build stuff. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming today. By the way, all the parents that came here to build rockets with their kids and their grandkids, you guys are doing it right, and thank you for getting your kids into science.
How long out is that launch thing?
When the weather stops sucking. A few weeks.
Just kind of give me.
We have a couple of these.
That's the right answer.
Wait, can I have a whole box of
No, you can't. But you can go to Ryder's and get them there in 3-packs. Thanks go out today to Mr. Andrew Cole, who made a substantial donation in order to make today's Captain's Blog possible. Thank you to you and all you other cool people on the Patreon who are helping me do this every single day. Thank you guys.